Dusty Harlan sits in his car at a stoplight, casually eating a burger while listening to his favorite tunes. Two girls start recording him and start laughing at him. Dusty, uncomfortable under their scrutiny, asks them to delete the video, but the girls simply walk away. As the girls leave, Dusty's niece Chloe opens the passenger door and slides into the car, chatting on the phone with her dad. She updates him, mentioning that Dusty still hasn't found a job. With a sigh, she hangs up and leans over to hug Dusty and asks him to start driving. Dusty puts on some retro music, his usual choice, but Chloe quickly protests, asking him to play something else. Reluctantly, Dusty gives in, letting her take control of the playlist for the ride. Chloe suggests a movie for the evening, something a little less retro, and they settle on Chosen Part 1, a film showing in a new 3D format called Cinethrax. Though Dusty isn't too thrilled about the idea of watching a movie in this new format, they make their way to the theater, purchasing 2 tickets. As they enter the queue, Dusty casually tosses the Cinethrax 3D glasses into the trash bin, pulling out a pair of his own glasses, shifters. He explains to Chloe that his glasses flatten the 3D video into 2D. He hands her a pair too, but Chloe hesitates, worried they'll make her look strange. Dusty, sensing her discomfort, reassures her, saying that the glasses may look weird, but she shouldn't care what other people think of her. She shouldn't let anyone pressure her into a brainwashed idea of normalcy. After a moment's pause, Chloe agrees and heads off to find their seats while Dusty goes to grab some snacks. While standing in line for popcorn, Dusty overhears 2 girls behind him laughing and making fun of his clothes. After collecting popcorn and drinks, Dusty enters the theater and spots Chloe in conversation with a guy, Zach. Dusty walks over and interrupts their conversation. Zach makes his way back to the projection booth where he works. Dusty suggests they change seats, but Chloe prefers their current spot as it offers more space. 2 girls, Bree and Alexis, join Chloe, and she introduces them to Dusty. Chloe expresses her interest in spending time with the cool girls, noting that they know Zach. She suggests that Dusty sit elsewhere, but he chooses to sit directly behind her, next to a cosplayer. Zach steps onto the stage to introduce the film. He informs the audience that, for a fully immersive experience, they should turn off their phones and remain silent during the movie. Chloe takes out her alternate glasses, but Bree mocks her for them. Chloe then puts them away and opts for the standard Cinethrax glasses instead. As the film begins, the audience, except for Dusty, reaches out toward the 3D visuals. Dusty puts on his shifter glasses. As the movie progresses, he notices something strange moving in the background. Alexis begins texting someone, and Dusty comments that there should be no distractions, prompting Bree to defend her. Chloe intervenes, asking Alexis to simply silence her phone. Zach walks through the theater, ensuring everyone is wearing their glasses. Dusty spots movement in the background again. He asks the cosplayer beside him to borrow his glasses, but the cosplayer declines. Dusty puts his own glasses back on and urges Chloe to wear the shifters and describe what she sees. She refuses, and Bree tells him to be quiet. Chloe asks Dusty not to spoil the experience for her. Dusty reluctantly sits back. Moments later, he sees a giant tentacle emerge from the screen and slither through the audience. No one else seems to notice it. As the tentacle moves toward him, Dusty panics, pulling his feet up and accidentally dropping his shifters. Instantly, the tentacle vanishes. He reaches down to retrieve his shifters and puts them back on, scanning the theater for any sign of the tentacles. At first, nothing appears unusual, but as he looks up, the tentacle suddenly materializes right in front of him and seizes him by the face. Dusty rips off his shifters in terror and begins to scream. Chloe turns to him and urges him to calm down. Dusty tries to warn the others about the tentacle, but no one believes him. Zach arrives and asks Dusty if there's a problem. He escorts Dusty to the lobby to talk things over. Concerned, Chloe follows behind. Dusty tells Zach about the tentacle, but Zach assures him it's just part of Cinethrax, the next dimension in cinematic experience. Dusty demands to speak to the manager, to which Zach replies that he is the manager. Zach explains that no one else in the theater is having any issues with the projection. Chloe suggests that Dusty's shifter glasses might be interfering with the 3D effects. Zach tells Dusty that wearing unauthorized third-party glasses is not permitted. Dusty asks for a refund, but Chloe insists on staying to finish the movie. Dusty tries to convince her to leave, but Chloe confronts him, saying he's been embarrassing her all evening and seems completely indifferent. She admits that she doesn't want to be different, she just wants to fit in with the other girls her age. She then turns and walks back into the theater. Zach informs Dusty that he can't allow him back into the screening, but offers to let him wait in another room until he calms down. Zach and his usher, Arnie, take Dusty to the projection room. There, Dusty notices an unusual machine projecting the film. Zach casually mentions that Chloe often talks about Dusty. He then expresses surprise at Dusty's reaction, stating that Cinethrax is no different from any other cinema. It might feel frightening at times, but technological progress is inevitable and unstoppable. Zach offers Dusty a new pair of Cinethrax glasses, but Dusty refuses and hands them back. Suddenly, Zach, Arnie, and the ticket taker, Shannon, transform into grotesque alien creatures and grab Dusty by the throat. They attempt to force his head onto a spike protruding from the wall, but Dusty manages to shove his sandwich into one of their throats and escapes. Meanwhile, Chloe glances back at Dusty's now empty seat as a tentacle slithers through the crowd. In the projection booth, the aliens scream, their eyes turning white. Throughout the theater, other staff members also briefly transform into similar creatures. Dusty runs back down the hallway, notices the alien silently communicating, and quickly retreats upstairs. He hides in a custodian closet and calls Chloe, but she hangs up, sending him to voicemail. He texts her, urging her to put on the shifter glasses, but she refuses. He apologizes for his behavior and confesses that she is his only friend. He tells her not to let anyone, including himself, pressure her into being someone she isn't. Zach begins chopping down the closet door with an axe. Chloe picks up the shifter glasses and puts them on. Through them, she sees a massive, multi-tentacled alien monster on the screen, actively transforming audience members into aliens. Bree and Alexis approach her, inviting her to join them. Chloe flees as the transformed audience chants for her to embrace the experience. She grabs the cosplayer's prop sword and strikes one of them. She attempts to reach the projection booth, but the crowd overwhelms her. They lift her off the ground and force the Cinethrax glasses onto her. A tentacle pierces her chest, and the alien screams in agony, cries echoed by the rest of the transformed audience. Chloe rushes toward the projection booth and shatters the window with a fire extinguisher. Inside, she finds Dusty tied and gagged to a chair. Zach appears wielding an axe. Chloe pleads with him not to hurt Dusty. Zach explains that the alien didn't come to harm them but to bring them together as one. He shares that he used to feel sad, angry, confused, and alone, but not anymore. He says Dusty doesn't have to be alone either. Zach places the Cinethrax glasses on Dusty while Arnie redirects the projector beam toward him. Chloe grabs a shard of glass and stabs Shannon in the foot. She seizes Shannon's knife and attacks the alien in the projector. The staff members collapse in pain as Chloe frees Dusty. They check each other and confirm they're still human. Zach crawls on the floor and warns them that if they don't adapt, they will die. A tentacle extends from his mouth and grabs Chloe, initiating her transformation. Dusty takes Zach's axe and strikes him in the head. Chloe takes Dusty's hand and they flee together. Outside the theater, she halts him, telling him there's nowhere left to go. She reveals that the aliens were right. It doesn't hurt. The remaining staff members gather around them. Dusty opens the theater door and sees the alien presence enveloping the streets, buildings ablaze. Chloe urges him to stay and watch the movie. Dusty says he can't lose her. She begins singing his favorite song and leads him back inside. The entire audience joins in the song. Dusty finally surrenders. He takes his seat and Chloe places the Cinethrax glasses on him. Together, they settle in to watch the movie together. Please like and subscribe the channel for more videos like these.